Hey everybody, this is Retro Care Reviews, about to do my Avatar, The Way of Water review, and before we get to that, I want to do some quick announcements. After this video will finally be the long-awaited end of the year countdowns for best and worst TV shows and movies I have reviewed or watched off screen all year for 2022. Most likely that's going to happen after New Year's, traditionally here on the channel, for those who are new to my channel. Also, I'd like to thank everyone who did participate in the community voting poll I gave out, I think, last day, yesterday, or a couple of days ago as I was recording. Lastly, a bit of a Christmas update. I have new Nerf stuff. Obviously, this is the Moto Blitz, and I'm actually surprised this is fitting my screen, or at least the camera-wise. So I'm going to talk a lot more about that, hopefully in my basement downstairs, which, for those who don't know, I'm going to try to use that exclusively for at least Nerf-related content going on forward, especially for the next blaster. The rival Fate from the AccuStrike line, or I guess Rival line, I don't know which. Good news, I did also get fresh rounds, so I could do some quick testings. I also have new targeting stuff, because again, it's going to be winter pretty soon. Well, more traditional snow, level 1 winter, and yeah, that basement is going to be very helpful with rain tests going forward. So with that all being said, let's get to the review. So if you're here for the time codes, this is me doing my full spoilers review because I didn't have time to do a non-spoilers because out of town seeing this with family the last couple of days. So where do we leave off from the last review? Quite a lot, as you can tell. Some years have definitely changed in the Avatar world. As far as Pandora goes, you start off with Quaritch, of all people. Yes, Stephen Lang has definitely come back as a clone of Quaritch in an Avatar party, and I think most of the positive things I'll say about the effects here, even though you can tell it's exclusively just the Na'vi this time around, there's like a handful of like live action stuff, but you can tell like 13 years later that most of the CG has definitely benefited, the wait for it has benefited in James Cameron's favor to show off more of the effects. For surprise story beats that I didn't think would actually work was Sigourney Weaver returning as the kid of her late character, Kiri. She got a lot of like build up for probably later down the sequels, because yes, James Cameron is going to be doing 3 more sequels. I think he announced a 5th one after wrapping up doing back-to-back shooting with this movie and 3. So that's going to be much. As for Sam and Zoe Saldana's Jake and Neytiri, you could tell that they are definitely very comfortable with the roles 13 years later. You could definitely tell the family dynamic for the Sully family in general is very on-screen, very personal, very more, I guess, focus-centered than usual when it comes to Jake's character the last time around I talked about this movie. Yeah, as for the kids themselves, my apologies to any of the kid actors, I don't know your names yet. But I want to give a shout out to Spider by Jake Champion. Oh, sorry, Jack Champion. Again, new names, trying to figure it out. He looked really good. He's the only one that's 100% human, so he's got the like biomask, oxygen stuff throughout most of the movie. For people I never thought I'd see again, character acting, Jeremy Clement from Fly the Conchords fame here on my channel. I never did a review of it, but got to the old season trailers that they used to do on HBO. He came back as a generic, another doctor, and also with apologies to Edie Falco, because again, both of them just look like character acting generic people that I guess Cameron was on standby when it comes to writing. Anyway, back to Lang and Jax, Quarters and Spider. Yeah, the big spoilers here going forward is not a whole lot, because again, I'm still trying to process this movie. But for Spider and Quaritch's relationship being father and son, despite being, genetically cloned and all that stuff. In Spider's case, he couldn't go to cryo because he was born during all this research in Pandora before the events of the first movie dropped. And obviously Quaritch is, back because he got killed in the last movie. So he is, in Lang's case, he's trying to give him essentially like a Terminator vibe, like the first movie basis. Like, he will not stop until he gets Jake in any way, shape, or form. He'll take down every tribe he could go into. And speaking of the two tribes, the Water Tribe for this movie's case, I'm trying to get I guess, leadered by Cliff Curtis's Talia Wallen. My apologies of not knowing every single Navi name. Again, this is still pretty new to me. Cliff did a pretty good job. His wife was also played by Kate Winslet, and she is putting on a good performance. I think she's trying to out being a cooler mom to Natiri in Zoe's case, and it shows. The rest of the kids are pretty cool. Again, they're trying to work off of the War Tribes kids, and there's a lot of humor back and forth of like basically doing the same thing Jake was doing in the first movie, trying to learn the whole traditions of this tribe, trying to like basically do the speedrun approach of like how Jake was learning how everything was in the first movie. I want to say one of the kids has the biggest plot point because one of them passed during the final fights in the third act. Also, I think another of like I think the youngest son of his had a relationship with one of the whales, which ended up becoming one of the few things I think this movie's gonna get a little bit of crap for going forward. Is the whale juice, because for some reason that's the new unobtainium to basically be a new resource that Earth needs. That again, as Cameron's long I guess advocacy for stopping, I guess, whaling in general. For those who don't know, James Cameron really likes the water. I don't know if you noticed. He was probably really happy or hyped as usual when he realized he could bring mocap suits underwater, because that basically what it looks like when you see a lot of the underwater sequences, especially in the Kiri's case when she's trying to, I guess, link up to, I guess, this tribe's version of the Mother Tree. I never really got around to talking about this in the first movie, but Home Tree in that one's case, last movie's case, is kind of like their version of the internet, of like remembering everyone's past, presents, and futures and stuff like that. And in Kiri's case, she tried doing that to go and see essentially Grace again in their version of a spirit world, and seized up immensely. As someone who also had a seizure years ago, I am diagnosed with MS. I do monthly injections, in case anyone was wondering. I'm very good. I'm good. Don't worry about it. In her case, it does reminiscent of that, and it's a scenario I don't really like. You're seizing up while being underwater, doing all spiritual stuff, so it's very insane. Yeah, so she got really benched for the rest of the movie. More to the point, there was like healing jellyfish to basically help you breathe longer in the water. So again, I never thought I guess Cameron would do a low-key reference back at Abyss after all these years later. Here we are, apparently. Ultimately, I'm going a little non-spoilerly with some spoilers here, because again, this movie is still out in theaters. I don't know if this is gonna be my best of the year list yet. And as of this recording, if I get the numbers correctly, it just finally grossed its 1.3, almost 1.3 billion. Yesterday, as of this recording, before I started filming this review, it was at 950. So it definitely got its billion, and with a budget of over, I think, 350 million, Cameron himself, I think it was like 400. Yeah, he's getting his money back. You don't bet against James Cameron without a very good reason, and I have yet to have one as of this recording, and probably for future Avatar reviews. For most of the cast that did come back, I would like to point out Joel David Moore. Again, I never thought I'd see him character acting again, let alone in this franchise. But for the first half, when Jake's family realized that the Sky People coming back, basically the Marines were coming back on his turf, they were like, okay, cool, we know what we're doing this time around, let's just get their gear and go. And it was pretty good, right up until they realized, oh no, Quaritch is back? Okay, well, I gotta like start running around and like keep them guessing, essentially. For the new tech on the Marine side of things that were more naval-based stuff, obviously because, again, James Cameron and water, is very new. The gunships are very different. I know there was a lot of, like, slight criticisms on the gunships there. I couldn't really care less. They looked okay regardless. As for Spider's whole arc with Quaritch going forward, it's gonna be interesting. I will give it that. Apparently he's still not dead as of this recording. So my apologies if I spoiled that much of the ending. It is a 3-hour movie, and you can feel every single second of it, because when the kids are still trying to figure out more about this tribe, there are moments where it's like, but yeah, what is Quaritch up to? What Spider is he trying to, like, still try to bond with him, try to get him to being a hardcore Marine kind of vibe? Like, no, you see him like another couple minutes later, just about to start doing basically the third act when it comes to taking down every other territory in the War Tribe's homeland, and basically Jake saying, all right, screw it, I'm back in saddle, let's do it. Kind of action. What I want to say is I never really got around to talking about the weapons in the Avatar franchise, because to me they all look like generic stuff you would see of like I guess a knockoff like Aliens type movie. But In Cordyce's case, they really, I guess in Cameron's case, he really emphasized his pistol that he had in the last movie and being like reverse holsters and stuff like that. This is where the nerve tactical side of me is coming in, so I'll try to keep this brief. I liked the modifications I think Jake was doing with his personal rifle he had in the last movie, being more wooden based, being more, I guess, tied to the home tree and most of his culture being with the Navi now at this point. You still get a lot of Sam Worthington narration, which for the sequel's case is kind of warranted and kind of understandable, given that, again, it's been 13 years, you need to catch up on where everyone is, and it's kind of warranted. Is it weird to hear it through stuff his kids are going through? Yeah, pretty much, but at the same time, it's also meriting, like, oh, I'm still figuring this out as his dad, as their dad, I'm still trying to be there with them, as always. And, it's not that loosely thin as far as his strong family dynamics go, but it might tighten up later in the next couple of sequels, because like I just said, it just got his billing as of this recording, so Disney needs to work with this regardless, for better or worse. So, that all being said, my final rating for this is gonna be a hard one, because I wasn't really a huge fan of this franchise now coming into it. It might change in the next couple sequels, who really knows. But it earns, at least to me, in my opinion, a good 8 out of 10. I know I should be going 9.5. I know I should be going on the straight 10, given that this is a miracle sequel, regardless of how legacy sequels have been compared to over the years, especially with the Star Wars franchise. But no, this is, if you had to do a legacy sequel, or in this case, a traditional, true follow-up, it is worth it. It is very much worth it. Is it worth the 3 hours? Depends. Oh, and as far as, since we're talking about Avatar here, theatrical experience-wise, I sat through standard definition because my own cousin said, yeah, don't do IMAX 3D because it'll just feel like a video game. The frame rate for that on standard def was just fine. I wasn't easily distracted by most of what was going on. I personally prefer that. If you want to have the full experience, please go to IMAX or your local 4DX screenings. Gonna hear that's a lot better as well. So with that all being said, and a tighter, I guess, timeline when it comes to filming this review than usual, what did you think of Avatar: The Way of Water? Do you think this was 13 years worth the wait? Do you want to see the next couple sequels? And will any of these people I merely mentioned in the cast get more screen time going forward, like Edie Falco's case and Jeremy Clement? And yeah, I would love to know more about the Water Tribes and future tribes going forward, because I'm pretty sure this isn't the last big spectacle tribe that in the Na'vi homeworld, that in Parador's case, that James Cameron isn't really thinking of or has overthought of. I'm pretty sure he has. So me being confused and yet surprisingly respecting James Cameron's side, Retro Jr. user, finally doing the end cards. So yeah, this end here to my previous video, which was obviously my Avatar 1 review. Other hand here to my shorts playlist, because there wasn't no Critical Role short this week. I might do one doing a 30-second review on most of these Earth Blasters before I do my full review. Yeah, and sub to the channel here on my shirt. If the end cards are showing up, obviously, as usual. Sorry, I just woke up doing this review, sorry, as usual. To my future content, notification down below for when the end of the year countdown video starts. Probably later this week, or most likely after New Year's. So with that all being said, take care, subscribe. Thank you so much for putting up with me in 2022. And let's hope in 2023 we see something as billion-dollar making as Avatar, because it's going to be a hard bar after Cameron, regardless how you feel about the guy, me included. So anyway, take care, and take care, guys.